You gotta buy it every month. We change the brand, it's more expensive this week. I'll hold my chin up, keep this grin up like my mother. She can worry like me. But if I have you, life is worth it. Love is more than a contagious disease. I think of you, I think of me. A family, is this another pipe dream? But if these dreams mean anything, I'm gonna think whatever I want to think. I just can't convince myself to look. Why can't I be strong in the place where you read your books? I just can't rely on happenstance. Didn't say goodbye before you died. I should've took that chance. But you'll never leave me. No, my heart is bleeding, and I know this feeling's not fleeting. Your hugs were the best thing, just wrapped up in your strength. I'd give up to be there right now. I just want you back, we all want that. I just wish that you hadn't forgotten. I hate this disease, I hate human beings. We fall apart before we get broken. I just can't believe you're not here with me. We should be out back sitting underneath that willow tree. Talk and I'd be listening. I didn't take the time to read your mind before you forgot me. Okay. But you'll never leave me. No, my heart is bleeding, and I know this feeling's not fleeting. Your hugs were the best thing, just wrapped up in your strength. I'd give up to be there right now. I just want you back, we all want that. I just wish that you hadn't forgotten. I hate this disease, I hate human beings. We fall apart before we get broken. Lock myself in my room to listen to voices recorded. Don't walk outside to avoid being avoided. This feeling that comes with not having a purpose. If I find something soon, maybe I won't feel so worthless. I've always felt this rhythm, but I thought it'd be pointless. Playing music that's for rich folks, not a prophet of poignance. But pointless is a feeling that comes over me often. Though I keep going for a fear of not affording my own coffin. I know I sound sad, but I've got to be honest. It's soothing to me and it helps with my progress. If writing these songs helps me change, then I have to. Not even for me, but everyone that I matter to. I've got this feeling life won't always be like this. I Dad said to me, it's your calling, your purpose. Walking through this life like a man with no shadow, always by myself, just trying to find my way. I've got no idea of how to get this thing started. Looking for a way out never got me by. I'm so scared and I don't know what to do. All this medicine does is hide the truth. How could you be happy if you've got nothing to prove? So get up and get out there, son, what you got to lose. Walking through this life, forgetting strife in the rear view. Don't prolong the pain, I owe myself more than that. If I learned my lesson, could I go back to high school? Tell myself to have some fun, don't be so pent up. I'm so scared and I don't know what to do. All this medicine does is hide the truth. How could you be happy if you've got nothing to prove? So get up and get out there, son, what you got to lose. Lock the door and run hot water. My sights are skewed, forgive me, Father. Sent you a text over dramatic. Got the response I wish I hadn't. I feel ashamed beneath my sleeves. Too much has changed, I have to leave. I love my family, I love my friends. And as for you, some good things end. I've made mistakes, I wish I hadn't. Things don't just change, we make them happen. I proved a point, forgave my father. Became less bitter, cause love is softer. I think I'm going off the deep end. I think I took a left when I should've took a right at the bend. I think I'm looking at the wrong trends. All these different people amphetamine to weed, all it takes is a drive. And it's alright, I got you this time. Let's just pick up something quick, I want out of my mind. I think I'll look into some new friends. Everyone I know seems to somehow trip me up in the end. I can't wait around until then. I can turn this thing around. I just need a place to begin. Come on, man, let's just pass the time. From amphetamine to weed, all it takes is a drive. It's alright, I got you this time. Let's just pick up something quick, I want out of my mind. And life's just a race against time. Try and make something pretty before I die. If I can make a dime off being honest, then I think I'll be fine.
Welcome everyone to this special edition of SchuBros Unfiltered, coming to you on a Thursday night. As Lyle likes to say, we are live, we are in person, and hopefully we are visible and audible this time because, last time didn't work out so well. So we're trying Skype again. We think it's going to work great. It's March 26th. We're here for all your daily dose of news, your dose of sports, your dose of Trump, whatever you need. We're here to talk to you about it. I'm here with my big bro, Kyle.
Howdy, y'all. How y'all doing tonight? I'm live and in person, like we like to say. Coming to you from Bryan, Texas, in my self-isolation chamber, aka my spare bedroom, aka my office.
All right. So how are you doing today, Kyle? Everything going good?
I mean, I've had a long day. Work was actually pretty busy. My job is considered essential because we do stuff for the government. So with that said, we don't take a break, and actually we probably have to ramp up because we're having to do stuff because of Corona. Like, we're having to do special projects to try to implement specific installations for the people who are being isolated by this issue. I'm doing my best to not give away what I do for work or give away any secrets or anything. So it's kind of
Well, you
hard.
work in telecommunications. We can say that.
I do. Yeah, I work in the
You help
telecommunications
people
industry.
talk to one another
Yeah.
and do things that they need to do. So that's an essential service. We need to have communication. We need to be able to talk to each other. So it's same for me. We actually got sent placards today that we have to have on our trucks. We have to have these placards on our trucks that tell us, that say we are essential personnel to oil and gas operations. So those now have to be posted on our vehicles for us to be able to travel up and down the highway. If we get pulled over without it, we can supposedly, I guess, maybe get in trouble. I'm not certain about that, but it was pretty serious. It was like, man, are y'all really? We have to have these placards to be able to go up and down the highway?
Yeah, that's a little insane. I don't think we've had that here, at least not that I'm aware of, because I know my wife went out and eventually found potatoes, but was not able to find rice. She's she's not really, but she grew up in Southeast Texas, so practically Cajun, and loves jambalaya, loves stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we get the jambalaya mix from HEB, and normally no problem, but right now, no bueno, we ain't finding nothing. It is picked dry right now, man. It is. You can find some stuff on the shelves, but it is few and far between, and not what you want.
So before we get any further, for everybody, if you're a new listener, make sure you liked and subscribe to our YouTube channel, to the Zero Gravity Media YouTube channel. Make sure you click the notification bell for all notifications. And hey, leave us some comments. Let us know. We got this new format we're trying today. I've been playing around with the editing here with the software, so I think it looks pretty nice with the Texas flag up there, our logo down the bottom. You can see both in Kyle and I at the same time. No switching back and forth. But it's definitely something we're trying out. If you don't like it, let us know. If you do love it, if you like it, then let us know that as well. But make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the all notifications. It is important for us that you hit the subscribe button because it helps us get more people attracted to our YouTube channel. It helps us be able to reach more people with these videos. So make sure you're hitting subscribe. You're already watching our video anyway. You may as well subscribe to our channel.
Not, but it hasn't gotten stale. Ross hasn't annoyed the ever living shit out of me just yet. He's getting close, but he hasn't done it just yet. And we do eventually would like to make some returns on this because we are putting a lot of time and effort into this, into this show. We are, efforting guests. We've got big news. We'll tease that a little bit later in the show.
Big news.
You'll kind of see based on one of the videos that we're going to watch together.
Kyle went fishing with the big test weight this time.
I tell you what, man, I caught a big one. I'm still like a little jittery the fact that the person actually A, read my message, and B, got back to me.
Yeah.
Like I honestly just thought I was gonna send the message and they were just gonna be like, and send it on one of those devices that tells you if it's been read or not. I was expecting it to just go unread for the history. And not only did it get read, it got replied to. And not only was it replied to, but it was replied to in a positive manner. Got a cell phone number, got a email address, started communicating back and forth, and he's agreed to come on the show Monday, 7 p.m. I'm really looking forward to it. I had to call everybody that I know, like in the family, be like, dude, if you
when you called me, I was like bullshit. It's not April 1st yet. It's too early for this shit, Kyle. I mean,
exactly.
This April Fool's joke is a week early, but no, it's real. We'll let y'all know that a little bit later, but just a teaser to get you to watch a little bit more of this video. Kyle went fishing, and he reeled in a whopper this week. I'm very excited. I can tell you that this is one of the only people from this institution that I would be excited to interview because of kid memories I have with him. So again, we'll talk about that here in a minute. But so Kyle, I mean, what's going on other than that, man? What are you reading in the news today?
So I briefly got a chance to read a little bit. I saw the news that we have indicted the president of Venezuela, or the
Nicolas Maduro.
Yeah, acting president of Venezuela on drug charges, which I'm thinking I read the charges and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I can see where that could have happened. So I hope and pray for the people of Venezuela that will make something happen. $1 million bounty on his head, alive, not dead. So with that said, I'm hoping that Venezuela will get someone will turn him in. Someone will, get him. Maybe someone in the military, one of the generals, decides, you know what, this. We need something that's going to give us hope. And with that said, go about it and get the money for their country, turn them in, let the new president come in, the actual elected president come in, and start taking over and putting in, regular policies. Because right now they're a socialist nation and they're just dying of, just lack of anything and everything. Their country looks like us right now, but constantly. And at least our shelves are being replenished. HEB was on top of this. They knew what was going on, and they did their best to stock their warehouse as full as it could get. They're just having trouble getting everything to the stores. But at least they're getting stuff to the stores. They're getting a truck in every night, and they're restocking the shelves as fast as they can. It's just people are still freaking out and still going in mass buying, even with the limits they put in place. Like you can only buy 2 things of turkey, you can only buy 2 things of beef. Even with the limits put in place, there's still people are just panic buying because they don't know when things are going to go back to normal. But I mean, the restaurants around town are still open. You can order food. You can't dine in, but you can get it through delivery. You can get it through takeout. So I mean, worst comes to worst, there's still that option. And I thought, and I don't know if my wife brought it up to me, and I thought I saw it. I don't know if it got actually passed though. Governor Abbott said that people can use food stamps and the Texas card or whatever, the government assistant program to actually start going out to eat now. But didn't see any limitations on it. So hopefully it's, bare basic minimums. They can get like chicken nuggets at McDonald's or something of that nature. And she's like, I don't like that. I don't like that. And I was like, well, babe, I mean, I don't like it either on its face value. But when you think about it, we just went to the store and we couldn't find anything. We couldn't find rice. We found bread. But we know there was a lot of limitations on majority of the food items. So the people that are on WIC and on government assistance, they're typically only allowed to buy because they haven't got anything stored up. They can't find anything. They're going SOL. So at least this way they have a chance to get food, and it is helping the local economies. Those stores are able to sell the food and make some money this way, whereas before they wouldn't be able to take that money, and the people wouldn't be able to spend the money, so they'd just be sitting there twiddling their thumbs, getting hungrier and hungrier. So at least there's something.
That's also combined with, we had 3 million unemployment applications this month, or this last week. That's the largest ever. I mean, that's the largest number of unemployment applications that has ever happened. So there's going to be a lot more people that are very soon going to be part of those programs. Listen, this is why these programs are there. These programs are there to catch people on those times when they need something. This is not to be a livelihood. This is to be something that gets you through the times that you need to get through and gets you to the times where you don't need it anymore. So when everybody was saying, oh, Trump's kicking people off of food stamps, he wasn't kicking people off of food stamps. People were making enough money that they no longer qualified to come off of food stamps. Now, those systems are still in place. Those systems still exist. We just dumped a lot more money into them thanks to this new program. So I'm hearing a lot of people complain about the amount of money they're going to get in this one-time stimulus program, but nobody is talking about the fact that they still are eligible for all of these other programs now that their income is no longer there. And that's not based on 2018 taxes. That's not based on anything. That's based on your right now money. So you're still going to be able to file unemployment insurance. You're still going to be able to go out and get food stamps. Now, listen, I don't want to be on food stamps, right? I don't want to be. It's a pride thing. I don't want to do that. Like I don't want to. It hurts my heart that I would have to be on it because I've worked really hard and I want to be the one providing for my family. So I understand all those families who are upset that they're not going to be able to provide for their families when they want to. But this is not your normal situation. This is not 2008. This is not 2009. This isn't the financial crunch that came from subprime mortgage banking. This is a legitimate national disaster that there's nobody in their right mind who could have controlled this. We could have responded to it better, but prevent it, no. There's no prevention. We could have slowed down the spread. We could have got to it earlier. We could have done things like that. But we definitely were not going to stop it in its tracks. So it's very important that we talk honestly when we talk about this. Was it done? Was it responded to as best as we could have? No. Is there room for improvement? Yes. But we are now working, hindsight's always 20/20 with these things. We can always come back in the future and say, well, we did this wrong. So it's very important that we go forward learning from this. So I've already made a policy proposal to my congressman that we make new regulations for the FDA to make them better able to respond to national disasters, to issues like this, to epidemics, to pandemics. That they're not waiting for the national disaster to be declared before they can start pulling back regulations to universities and to other things so that they can start creating cures, so they can start creating vaccines, so they can start testing whatever. Because that was a large issue here. University of Washington had a test kit, and then all of a sudden they couldn't test it. They couldn't do anything with it. They couldn't go out and try it. The FDA wouldn't let them, and it took Trump declaring the national disaster for that to actually occur. So we need to write a policy that says, okay, normal FDA regulations are great. We want to prevent bad drugs from coming to the market. We don't want people just being able to make whatever and put it on the market. But at the same time, there are certain times when the FDA needs to be able to allow universities and certain institutions to do what they need to do to be able to make things that we need to be able to respond to this stuff. So we definitely need to take the lessons learned here, and we need to build from it. We didn't do that after the H1N1. We didn't do that after SARS. We didn't do that after Ebola. we kept everything in place, and then with the ACA, we just added on top of that. We made it even harder for pharmaceutical companies and insurance companies to respond to these types of situations.
Exactly. I mean, it's one of those things like, yes, it's great to have all these safeguards in place. Yes, it's good to have everything hunky-dory in normal situations. But we're not in a normal situation right now. We're in the middle of a crisis. We're in one of the weirdest situations I've ever experienced in my life, and I'm sure most people are in the exact same boat. You know, we lived through swine flu, and you know there was a lot of people that died, but honestly, like it didn't impact my life.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really feel any impact when that happened. But with this one, you know, my life has been significantly impacted.
Yeah.
I'm having to ration food, I'm having to ration toilet paper, I'm having to ration my time, my efforts, and just it's a lot different than anything I've ever experienced. So, with that said, there needs to be some kind of fail-safe trigger in the FDA that says if something gets to this point, then you know these regulations go away. If it gets to the next point, these
Yeah, I agree.
regulations go
Mm-hmm.
away.
Yeah, and
And
there's
then you know
there's
normal
benchmarks you
everyday
can
life
set.
has all those regulations in place, but when something of this magnitude and this issue comes up, we need to be stripping away regulations faster than we can, you know, as fast as we can, as fast as possible, and make it to where doctors and scientists can go out and freely experiment and try to
Mm-hmm.
fix this. Now, hopefully, they don't create any zombie vaccines where people start dying, come back to life, and try to eat my brains. But as long as that doesn't happen, we're good to go. And I got enough guns and ammo that I'll be all right.
So for me, what you do is I agree with you. You set certain benchmarks, right? You set certain benchmarks that okay, this is what triggers the stripping of these regulations, and then you identify certain entities, whether that be universities, whether that be uh, certain private labs, certain pharmaceutical companies that are allowed to roll back these regulations once the benchmarks are hit. You can put all these different things in place to make sure that it's not abused, to make sure it's not overtaken, but at the same time we need to be able to respond faster. We need to be able to do things at a more rapid rate. We need to allow the market to respond to the situation. Everybody now is trying to say, oh, well, this is just a failure of the free market. This is not a failure of the free market at all. This is us hindering the free market from being able to work. We
Yeah,
literally took the.
if you want to look at what the free market could do, go look at South Korea. I mean,
Perfectly correct. You're
they went
perfectly
and
correct.
said, "Hey, companies that can manufacture shit and that could help us, go crazy, have fun,"
Yeah.
and they did, and it's working.
And they got test kits rolled out right away. They were able to get isolation in place because they were able to test people and confirm whether or not they had it. They were able to track where the people were. I mean, South Korea is a case study of what we should have done, but what our regulations and laws will not allow us to do. So,
Now,
yes,
in our defense, South Korea is a very so it's a lot easier for them to implement something than it would be for us. Like, I mean, Brazos County might have a larger a larger footprint than South Korea. I don't think it does, but Houston definitely does. I mean, Houston's probably bigger.
I think Texas has a larger population. If we just say
Yeah,
Texas,
Texas in general.
And you make a great point, and that is worth noting that yes, Texas, United States has a larger population. What works in these other countries is not necessarily going to work here, but there are lessons to be learned, right? We can take what they did and we can extrapolate it out to be what we should have been doing. And I think the problem with our government is that we don't learn lessons in our government. We just say, "Oh, it's fine. It'll never happen again. We don't have to worry about it. It was a one-time thing." It's not going to be a one-time thing. There's going to be another pandemic in probably 5 years. It's like the price of oil falling. It's going to keep happening. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. It happens on a cycle. It's just how long in the good time do you have and how long in the bad time do you have. So you got to learn your lessons from the good to the bad. It's like, what did I do from the last time the oil price dropped? I increased my buffer. I increased my savings so that I know that, okay, I have a longer amount of time before my financial situation hits the fan. I have more money in savings. But the federal government, yes, they're giving you some money. But again, remember that there's these other programs that are already in place that you can take advantage of. Now, can we pass some laws to streamline the application process? Can we don't give some more money to those right now to make sure they're good? Great. But what we also need to have a conversation about is why, when the economy was doing as good as it could have been doing, were we not paying off some of our debt? Because now we have to rack up debt. Now we don't have a choice. Now I hate it. The fiscal conservative in me hates this. I hate it. But I understand that it's a reality of life at this moment that we have to pump some money into the economy, that we have to help people out. We have to keep them alive. We can't let people die. We can't let people starve. That's just the nature of the beast. But it goes back to what we've talked about a lot, is that when you're in the good times, you pay stuff off. You don't keep racking up the debt thinking that you'll never need the credit card again. Because when you get into debt, the credit card's already maxed out. Now, I've seen some interesting theories be populated that say, well,
Now put the hat back on. Your hair is horrible.
I know. we're gonna borrow this money from China, so China ought to forgive the debt because it's their fault. There's some credence there. I don't know what the process for that is, but yeah, I kind of agree with that a little bit, that there should be some debt relief here. Now, did the coronavirus outbreak mean that you should get $30,000 off of your student loans? No.
But I think, and there's been multiple versions of the bill, so I'm not exactly sure what truly got passed in the Congress and Senate and then got to Trump.
The last iteration I saw included the $30,000 relief on student loans, $30,000 forgiveness.
I saw 10,000, so it got bumped to 30.
I'll have to go back and look, because they've amended this thing so many times in the dark without really releasing what they're doing. And then of course it's still got to go to the House, and God, who knows what they're going to do with it, right?
I thought they said it was going to Trump now. It passed both houses at this time.
No. It has to go back to the House because the Senate changed it. Okay, so now there needs to be a reconciliation. There needs to be a reconciliation of the two bills. So they've both passed similar bills that are under the same title, whatever, but neither one of them has passed, or only the Senate has passed the current version. So now it's going to go back to the House, and they may say, oh, well, if the Republicans are getting this, then the Democrats should get that. And we'll see where this actually ends up. We're still probably 3-4 days away if the Senate or if the House just passes it as is. If not, we'll have to have a reconciliation. We'll have to have a special caucus between the Senate and the House to make a reconciliation, to make one final bill, and then it come forward. And hopefully we've negotiated to the point. But listen, I don't want to sound harsh here, but there is an impetus here for people in the future. If you haven't already, increase your savings a little bit. You don't have to save $1 million, right? But make sure you have the general rule in most finance is that you need 3 months. You need to have 3 months in the bank. That if you lost your job, or you broke your leg, or you, God forbid, passed away, that you've got 3 months of payments in the bank account ready to go. Because life insurance, even if you die, life insurance doesn't pay out right away. It takes time for life insurance, that check, to get to your wife. And what is she going to do while she's waiting for that check to come in the mail? Right? She's going to starve, or she's going to go poor, or she's going to do whatever else to make the money. So make sure that you have enough money sitting in savings. Again, I'm not advocating that you have $1 million sitting in a bank account somewhere, right? And I'm not saying don't invest in the stock market. I'm not saying don't put money in your 401k. I'm saying do all those things as well. But realize that that's money that's not liquid, that you can't just get that money back if you want. And the stock market, of course, you can get the money back in a couple days, but you don't know how much it's going to be. Have a nest egg that is safe and secure. The general rule is 3 months. Now, what I did, because of when the oil field went down the last time, is I said, well, 3 months wasn't enough. So I went to 5 months. So I put 5 months. I figured out what my monthly bills are, what my requirement is, right? Not, I'm going to keep living the same exact lifestyle I live now. I'm going to keep eating out all the time. I'm going to keep going to restaurants. I'm going to blah, 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 blah. But if I had to go to bare minimum and make my house payment, make my phone payment, make my car payments. This is how much money I need a month, and then I put 3 times that in a bank account. It's earning a little bit of interest. I understand I'm not time value of money. I get it. It's not making what it could be making in the open market or even in a mutual fund. But those things are not liquid, and those things carry risk. I need money that I know is not going anywhere.
Very true statement there. So my wife and I, we have probably 4 months right now
Okay.
in the bank, but we also are planning on her having to take a small sabbatical. So with that said, we've been trying to build up enough that would replace her income while she is on that sabbatical. Because we know it's coming, we know it's going to happen. We are
you
doing
ready
our
to
best to
announce
plan for it.
why your wife is taking that sabbatical, or are we still?
We're still waiting.
Okay.
We've got a little bit more time before we
I didn't
release
wanna
that
say
information.
something. Okay.
Because I'd be happy to go ahead and just share it right now, but you know she wants to wait for a little bit longer
that's
just to make
understandable.
sure it's actually going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, she's a little bit more hesitant than I am. I'm one of those. As soon as it happens, I want to
teaser number 2 for the night. Kyle has big news coming up in the future. But we're not going to tell you what it is. You got to keep watching. You got to keep listening to us to get Kyle's big news if you want it. So there is big news in the future. It's just not right now. So yeah, I agree. Yeah, I mean, listen, I worked in oil and gas in 14 when we had a precipitous drop. I had just gotten a good job where I was, for the first time in my life, making good money, right? I had been making money in the oil field, but I was making enough money to skimp by. And I had taken a job where I was making enough money. It was like, man, I'm making enough. So I went and bought a house, and I went and did some other things. And I did what every stupid oil field guy does, right? I debt leveraged myself to hell. I went out and debt leveraged myself to the point where if I wasn't making that money anymore, I was screwed. And I was really kind of clutching it close on what I had. I had 3 months in the bank, but that didn't last very long because 3 months came and went pretty quick when oil prices weren't coming back. So,
that was one of the few times in my life where I was unemployed for more than like a month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've always got my side hustles going. I've always got little things to where I can get extra income if I need it. You know, call up family, friends, acquaintances to be like, hey, I'll come do this for you if you're willing to pay me this. But during that time, no one had money to spend. So it was one of the few times, and like I got laid off for that. You know, I wasn't fired. I was what's the word when you get fired? When you get laid off.
Laid off.
But it's not. Maybe it is laid off. I don't know. It's the whatever it is when it's
Furloughed?
not your fault. It's the company can't work. No.
Oh yeah, laid off. Yeah, when the company is saying, saying, hey, it's not your fault. We just can't keep you on anymore. Then you get laid off. When furlough is when, hey, we're gonna bring you back, but you technically don't have a job right now, but you're still an employee. We might keep paying your benefits, but we're not paying you a salary at this point.
Yeah. So I got laid off. That's the right term.
Yeah.
I didn't get fired. I got laid off. So I was, between jobs, and it sucked. You know, it was one of the few times in my life. It was like the only time in my life I've actually applied for unemployment. Any other time I've gotten fired or laid off or whatever it may have been, I, found something fairly quickly. But in that economy at that time, very few people were hiring. Very few people were willing to pay for side work, for gig work or whatever it may have been. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of
there wasn't a lot of spare money going around for anybody at that time.
Exactly. So I did what I could. I almost got to the point where I was going to have to sell my house. It didn't get that bad, but the thought crossed my mind because I was paying $1,200.
It got so bad that I moved 400 miles.
Yeah, I mean it was.
That's how bad it got for me.
$1,200 a month mortgage payment that I could have gotten rid of and gone and lived with my mom and dad for a little bit. I would have hated it. Could have gone and lived with my sister or a friend or somebody, not paid that amount of money. But luckily, was able to find employment eventually and got through that time. But I did run up the credit card debt quite a bit during that time. So I've recovered from that. I've gotten through that situation, but it took a while.
So, I mean, all this is to say is that, okay, Kyle and I both understand if you're suffering right now, if you're not meeting means financially because you've been laid off due to coronavirus or your hours have been cut or whatever else, I understand. Right? I've been there. I've put every dime I had into something to lose it anyway. Right? I had to literally give my house back to the company, to the mortgage company. I had to say, "Here, take it back. I can't do it." And then I literally loaded up a U-Haul and hauled my happy ass halfway across the state to take another job. And I mean, was it with what my plan was? No, but it was what was necessary to do. But then I didn't say, well, hunky dory, everything's back to good times, and now let's just go back to everything the way it was. I said, okay, I'm going to make adjustments to the way I live. I'm going to make adjustments to the way I save. I'm going to make adjustments to my financial portfolio to now be better able to withstand if something like that happens again. And unfortunately, I live in oilfield territory. Like, I think I live in the most raptors per capita city in the world. Okay? Because there's a raptor everywhere here. If you think raptors are rare, come to Midland, Odessa. They're not. Okay. Raptors.
I misunderstood you the first time, and then I finally figured out what you were saying. But raptors may not be synonymous with what you think they are, so kind of.
Okay, so the Ford F-150 Raptor,
There we go.
the high end, and no, get me wrong, they're beautiful trucks, right? If I didn't care about money, I'd go own one today, right? But at the same time, I care about money. So instead of buying a new car, my car's got 110,000 miles on it. I could afford to go buy a brand new car. I could trade it in and get it's paid off. I could trade it in. I could have a brand new car if I wanted to. I went to the Ford dealership not too long ago when I was looking at my wife's vehicle, guy on a vehicle for my wife, and they had a Shelby GT500 sitting there. And it was like, I would pay less for that Shelby than I'm paying for the vehicle I'm buying my wife. I could have bought a Shelby GT5, a brand new one. I could have had it. They'd have given me the loan. I would have had it, but I'd had to pay insurance on that sucker. I'd have had to pay the loan payment on that sucker for a vehicle that's going to do what? It's not going to earn me any money. It's not going to bring anything back to me. Right? So there's no point to it. It looks nice, and if I get to 60 years old, 50 years old, and I've got money to burn, I will own me one. Trust me. It will be in my garage. But right now in my life is not the time for that. Right now in my life is time to put money into savings and make sure my kids are taken care of and make sure I'm taken care of, make sure my wife's taken care of. And those are the things that are important to me right now. And I, like you, always have something going on exterior to what I'm doing for my real job, right? I'm always working on something. I cut firewood back in the day. I ran hunts with you and Dad. I, worked on vehicles a little bit when guys would pay me to do that, soup up their trucks because I was doing diesel performance kind of stuff. I've always done some other thing. I sold Christmas trees one year. That went down in a ball of flames, but you know what? I tried it. It didn't work. There's lots of things. But listen, for all of you Americans who are suffering right now, we feel your pain. We've been there. We know what it's like. It sucks. We're apologizing that it's happening right now to you. Hopefully you'll get some relief. Hopefully things will get better for you very soon. Hopefully you're going to be able to get food stamps. You're going to be able to get all those things taken care of and processed very quickly. And I hope that you're able to make sure you get your ends met one way or the other. But please learn a lesson from this because it's going to happen again. Right? This is not a once a thousand. This is not a, what they call it when Houston floods every 5 years. They call it 1,000-year flood.
Yeah, or 100-year flood. But
right, and it's like it happens every fifth year.
Peaks and valleys, man. Peaks and valleys. We're
right
going through a peak, and then right now we're going through a valley. Hopefully the valley doesn't last long, and we'll get back to our peak. But you never know when it's going to happen. You always got to be prepared. You always got to know that shit hits the fan. You've got a plan. You can live for at least so long. Yep. Now, like I was telling you before, my wife and I employ the snowball effect, and we just paid off something. My side hustle came through, got a decent chunk of change, was able to take one of my debts and completely eliminate it. I took that money and I put it into my other one, and now that debt's going to be eliminated significantly sooner than we originally thought it was going to. So we went from being so we were very good about if we buy something big, we get the 0% interest financing for it, and we make sure we're going to pay it off just the right amount of time. If we got 18 months, we're going to try to pay it off in 17 or less. So right now we had one debt that we expected that was going to be so we bought something that took a while to be made. We expected it to be a 6 month to a year before it was finished, and we ended up getting it in like 3 months. So we thought we were going to have more cushion than we did. So we were kind of sitting here going, we only got a 3 month cushion when we thought we were going to have 6 months to 9 months at least of a cushion between one bill and the other. So because of that snowball, now it looks like we're going to be paying it off. We might have to pay 1 month of interest, but 1 month of interest is a whole lot better than 3, 4, 5, whatever it may be months. And if this money that they say is going to be coming to individuals comes in, the $1,200 per person, I'm going to put that directly towards one of those debts and pay that off.
Oh yeah, I mean, I bought new furniture for our house. It was a 0% interest, so we went ahead and got it on a card because if it's 0 interest, we'll take that money, we'll split it up over a year, we'll pay it off. But if I've got that coming in, then I'm just going to go crush that bill down, and I'm going to be done with it. So
exactly.
I'm not wealthy enough that I
more
can
money
say
back into your life again.
Yeah, I'm not wealthy enough to be able to say I'm just gonna take that money and throw it away or give it to somebody else. Like, okay, I can use that money. I can find somewhere for it. And again, a lot of part of this is that if you need the money right now, I'm happy you're going to get something, right? But we can't then turn around and expect the federal government to give you $5,000 a month or something, because I'm hearing people go, "Oh, what's going to happen next month? What's going to happen next month?"
One thing I've heard about that's supposedly going to help, and not all states are doing this, but some states are, and some banks are doing it. They're doing mortgage pause. So not eliminating your mortgage, not telling you don't have to make payments constantly. They're just saying, for the next month, maybe the next 2 months, they're going to put a pause on your mortgage to let you kind of breathe.
So we got an email saying the same exact thing with our car loan. So I have a loan on my wife's car, and they did the same thing. They said, okay, for the next 3 months, you don't have to make a payment. We won't apply any interest to your account. We won't hold it against you. What I saw that is that's an opportunity to pay. That's an opportunity to pay down some principal, right?
Exactly.
I mean that's what I saw that as. So I told my wife. She goes, well, should I say we're going to do it? I said, hell yeah, you should. What does it hurt? And then
you had to opt into it?
Yeah, you just had to email them back and say, yes, I want to do it. There was the option not to do it, and you just had to email back and say, yes, I would like to take advantage of this. There wasn't any, as far as I know, there wasn't any application process or thing like that. It just was, you said, okay, yes, I want to do this, and they said, great. And then I said, okay, I'm going to keep making my regular payment, but now it's all going towards principal instead of 10% of that payment going towards interest right now. So that to me was a win-win.
Yeah,
I'm hoping they do that with my mortgage.
Yeah, they do that with the mortgage. That's a big windfall. If you can make a normal payment directly to principal, that shaves.
Especially as early in the loan as I am, because
exactly.
I mean I'm in the first few months of my house down.
That might shave 2-3 years off your mortgage, just like that. One payment, one extra payment.
Yeah, it really could. And we already were planning to make slightly larger payments to principal, because, like you said, we understand it. But I don't want to come off as arrogant here, right? I don't want to come off as a person who doesn't understand the complexities of life or what it's like to be poor, because I definitely do, right? I mean, I've slept in my car for significant amounts of time in my life, and it sucks. I understand it, but you will survive, right? And you will adapt and you will overcome. And if you're willing to learn from what happens, you will get a lot better. Things will get a lot better for you moving forward. The reason now that I'm doing a lot better than I was is that I changed my mentality on spending. So there's a big difference between being able to afford something and having to have it, right? Again, go back to the Shelby GT conversation. I can afford it. I could buy it if I wanted to. They'd give me the loan. But I don't need it. And my Jeep Cherokee that's paid off, that has 110,000 miles on it, works perfectly fine. There's no mechanical issues with it. I maintain my vehicles very well. I make sure my oil changes are on time. I get the tune-ups. I flush the I flush the transmission. I flush the radiator. I keep my vehicles in tip-top shape so that it will live. And I'm my wife asked me the other day, because I saw a nice Jeep Wrangler, lift, beautiful. And I was like, man, that's nice. And she goes, well, if you wanted to. And I was like, no, there's no reason that I need it. I don't need a four-wheel drive vehicle. I don't drive anywhere that requires it. I only.
I just realized something because you're doing the stream. I can actually use my second screen right now for something other than the stream. So normally when I'm doing the stream, my second screen is what we're projecting. So whatever's on that screen is what you're seeing on YouTube. Yeah. So right now I can actually put Discord in front of your face. I don't even have to look at you. It's nice.
Oh, I have a nice little setup right now. So I have the page we're going to look at later set up as half screen. And then I have in 2 quarters, I have the OBS window. And then down on the bottom quadrant, I have Discord. So and I've been watching the stream on my phone. And it looks really nice. And if you're watching this is the first time you're seeing this setup, please let us know what you think. I personally like it. But let us know what you think as well. Hey, and you know what? What we can do moving forward is, that Texas flag up in the left corner? We can change that out every now and then if you guys like. We can put different flags. You guys can suggest different flags for us to put up there. I'm happy to put come and take it flags. I'm happy to put don't tread on me flags. And we can start making it a contest. Whatever state gives us the most views, we'll put their flag up there. We'll do things like that. We can put school flags up there if we get things like that. Let us know. That's something we can do in the future that'd be fun and just kind of something different. The SBU logo is staying. That's not moving. But the flag we could play around with a little bit.
I think the thing in the bottom left needs to go away, though. I mean, it's pretty ugly.
Fuck you. But kudos. It was a good joke. I will give it. It was fast thinking, and you came forward with it. I give you that one. That was a good one. So let's. We've talked. Okay, coronavirus. It sucks. Make sure you're taking all necessary precautions. If you're not an essential personnel, don't be out and around if you don't need to be. Look, this isn't government mandated quarantines. This is just common sense, right? This is if there's something that could kill you, don't go near the thing that could kill you, right? Try to limit your exposure to the thing that could kill you.
And you move your elbow in a certain way and goes, Doc, why does it hurt when I do this? And the doc goes, well, don't do that and it won't hurt. Duh.
Does it not hurt when you don't do it? Then don't do it.
When you keep it bent, it's fine. When you try to straighten it out, it starts hurting. That means don't straighten it out. If you're gonna get sick, if you go out and don't wash your hands and sneeze into people, you're gonna get sick, and it's happening. Now, one thing I saw today that kind of gives me a little bit of help or a little bit of hope. We were told we need to put up a Chicago Bears flag. One thing that gives me a little bit of hope is that the government is actually taking people joking around about the coronavirus as a terroristic threat right now. There was a gentleman who went to a Walmart and licked a row of deodorant going, oh, you got the coronas now. Well, he got arrested. He's getting brought up on terroristic threat charges. That makes me happy. If you're that dumb, you need to suffer the consequences of being that dumb. Someone went to a grocery store and coughed on a lot of food, thinking it was funny, doing it for the TikTok, doing it for can't do it for the Vine anymore because Vine doesn't exist, but doing it for TikTok, Vine, doing it for whatever views, trying to get a little notoriety.
Okay. I'm going to try to change this live. It's probably going to go to shit, just to let you know now, but I'm going to try my best to change it and have it just change over. So if it goes to crap, I will fix it, Mr. Bill, but I'm going to try for you, sir, because you asked for it. Let's see if it works.
And Bill's a good guy. I really like him. He's a stand-up character.
All right, Mr. Bill, there you go. Just for you, we've got a Chicago Bear logo. I'm not a Bears fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. But you know what? You asked for it, there you get it. We do respond to people when they talk to us.
That's Dick Butkus land, isn't it? The Bears? The Bears.
Yeah, the Bears. 85, man. Best defensive team in history. We'll get, hey, Bill, we'll talk all about the Bears all you want if you will go get more people to watch this.
He has shared it out. I've watched him share out our videos in the past on YouTube. So he's on board. He likes us. Hopefully we can keep growing, and hopefully he'll be one of the factors that why we do. We're up to 7 concurrent viewers right now. So for us streaming without a guest, that's pretty good. We've been much slower.
Idiots talking. All right. So I wanted to shift topics a little bit. So we brought up the Bears, so that's a great time to talk NFL. Free agency is currently going on. The Bears just picked up a good defensive end. They stole one from the Cowboys. But there's a lot of free agency news. Of course, the big news is that Tom Brady will no longer play in New England. That's kind of the big shock. We talked about it last week that Ryan Tannehill got paid. But there's some other guys getting paid. Cam Newton just got cut from the Carolina Panthers.
And
So
the Panthers then traded Kyle Allen to the Redskins.
Yeah.
So I guess they're going to go heavy on the draft right now, try to figure something out there.
Well, they signed the backup from New Orleans, Bridgewater. They signed Teddy Bridgewater.
Okay.
3 years
Good
ago.
quarterback.
They signed Teddy Bridgewater, and then they just they signed the XFL quarterback from Houston.
Okay. He was doing really well before everything went to shit.
So he'll be their backup. Matt Rule coached him at Temple.
Okay.
So that's they're getting back together. That's kind of cool. It's neat to see that Bill said the Bears. So it's kind of cool to see that we're getting some movement in the NFL.
Where did our boy well, not really our boy per se, but the Longhorns boy Colt McCoy end up? I saw him trending on Twitter the other night, but I hadn't actually heard anything happen
as a backup. But I gotta remember where. Giants.
The Giants.
To break my heart, he signed as the backup to the Giants.
Okay, well that means
heart.
our source, that one of our hunters, his information may have been dated because he thought they were going to LA. He was going to go to LA to reconnect with that coaching staff.
Well, and things change on the fly, right?
Oh, exactly.
Maybe he wanted to go to LA. Maybe he thought he was going to LA.
But his agent got him more money in New York.
Agent got him more money over there, or LA changed their mind when Phillip Rivers didn't resign, or who knows, right? There's a plethora of choices that are being made all simultaneously with one another.
New York just got a new head coach, right?
New York just got a new coach, and that's the second time in not very long that they've gotten a new coach.
Where'd he come from?
I did the wrong one. Damn it. Sorry, guys. I changed the wrong picture on myself here. He came from God, I can't remember who they hired.
It was a surprise because everyone thought they were going to get Rule.
They thought they were going to get Rule.
Wasn't it like New England's coordinator or something of that nature?
Yeah, something like that. It wasn't their offensive coordinator, but it was their quarterback's coach, I think. Don't quote me on that. Okay. So Bill, I gave you a good few minutes of Bears logo there, but I had to go back. Sorry, it was breaking my heart to see that Bears logo up there. So I'll go back to my star. Mind you on YouTube, you're gonna see me moving shit around. I apologize. There's no way with the software I have to be able to make the modifications in the background and then display it live. I have to make them live. It's just the way it is. Okay, so. But big news is that Cowboys have finally addressed two of their biggest weaknesses. They signed two really good defensive tackles. Gerald McCoy, who was with Tampa for so many years and then went and played with the Panthers, and Dontari Poe, who was with the Panthers last year, but he was with Cleveland and New England for a while. So they now have two big boys in the center. And then on top of that, that
means they're probably not going to draft my boy from A&M, so...
But it's still a good possibility because of this. They have those two. Those guys are not spring chickens. Like Dontari Poe is 29, but McCoy I think is 33, right? So he's definitely up there in years as far as football route. But it doesn't mean they won't go after him. It's less likely now, right? That they have other pressing needs. They may go wide receiver in the second round, more like. But then they also signed Clinton Dix. The former Alabama product, and that addresses a big need they've had at safety. So they need a corner really bad. They need a top-end corner. There's still a few free agents out there, but none of the top-end guys are out there, and the Cowboys don't really have the money for one of the top-end guys. That's why they let Byron Jones walk. They don't have the money for that, right? With what they're paying Dak Prescott, with what they're paying Amari Cooper, and what they're paying Ezekiel Elliott, plus on top of what they're paying their offensive line. But now we need to talk about the heartbreaker. What I had hoped would be an April Fool's joke. My boy Travis Frederick, T-Fred, the Beard, announces his retirement at 29 years old. And he's had some medical issues. He has Guillain-Barré syndrome, which is, affects nervous systems. So you understand him not wanting to take a risk with his health, right? He's got small children, he wants to be able to play with them, he wants to be able to grow up, and he's made money, right? He's made plenty of money. So he's not going to go broke anytime soon, right? He was a first-round draft pick. He got a big second deal. He's not poor. But that leaves a big hole in the center of the Cowboys offense because he did a lot for the Cowboys. He called the plays. He called the offensive line plays. Now, when he was out that year, they had Zach Martin doing that, and he did a good job of it. Joe Looney played well as a center, and when he played in replacement of him, it's not the same, of course, but Joe Looney played well enough. They have re-signed Joe Looney, but it'll be interesting to see if the Cowboys try to address that. Now, they have a pick from last year out of Penn State, Connor McGovern, who was thought to be coming in to be a swing tackle, but now people are remembering, oh crap, he played center at Penn State for 2 years. So he might be an option here. Maybe the Cowboys already knew Frederick had planned to retire. Maybe they knew that he was going to come back and it was a 50-50 proposition he'd play more than a year. Maybe he had given them a heads up. We don't know, but last year when they drafted Connor McGovern, everybody went, why? You just got Connor Williams the year before. They play the same position. Are you giving up on Connor Williams that soon? What's going on here? And then
Probably
Connor Williams
was Longhorn.
Well, but he's still a good left guard. So it seemed weird, but now all of a sudden that draft pick doesn't seem so weird. All of a sudden it's like, wait, that might actually work out. We might actually have a center on the roster already, ready to go, who's had a year, who got to learn from the best center in the league, spending a year behind him. Maybe it's going to be okay. And he's got bookends around him, right? Look at La'el Collins is still on the right tackle. You still have Tyron Smith at the left tackle. You still have Zach Martin, the best offensive lineman in football, right? The one that they picked instead of Johnny Manziel, which will go down as the greatest pick in Cowboys history just because they didn't pick Johnny Manziel there when everybody said they would. I know that hurts your heart.
I mean, he probably would actually still be in the league if he went to the Cowboys.
It's a possibility because they'd have given him the Des Bryant treatment.
Exactly.
Right? They would have put a personal security guard on him. They would have locked his ass in a room and told him, this is what you get to do from now on. It sucked for him, but he would have probably gotten his head straight.
And prior to that, it was the Michael Irvin treatment.
It's been a lot of people treatment.
Yeah.
The Cowboys have had reclamation projects for years.
They've done, and I mean they've made their money with those.
Sometimes it works out.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes to shit. But that's the chance you take, right?
Have you heard anything about the draft potentially getting delayed because they're not being able to do pro days, or is the draft still on for the same time?
As far as I know, the draft is still on. They're still doing private workouts. They're just teleconferencing to private workouts. They're not sending scouts to the work. So we saw Tua Tagovailoa. He had a workout the other day. They got put on ESPN, and he was moving pretty well. It looked like he was recovering from his injury really well. So there's hope there that he's going to be okay. As of right now, the news I know is that the draft will be happening. It just won't have a crowd, and most likely the teams won't be in attendance, right? The teams will just call in from their headquarters, announce their pick. Maybe the commissioner will come out for the first round and say who the picks are, but they're going to have a skeleton crew. And, I'm not absolutely against that. I think, we can still have the draft. We'll still know who gets picked. I've never been to the draft. I'm sure it's an experience to go to, but Super Bowl, playoff game, actual NFL game, draft? I mean, it's just not real high on my list of things to do. It adds a little bit of excitement, but I don't watch the draft to watch the crowd reactions, right? I watch the draft to see who goes where. I
do enjoy them constantly booing the commissioner.
Well,
that's funny. But other than that,
you can boo him from your TV.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not going to be, coming through your TV.
It is fun to watch him come out to booze, right? No matter what he's done, he comes out to booze, which is very interesting.
Yeah, he's just not that good of a commissioner, but that's my opinion. We got a question from the audience. Anyone going to pick up Dalton, or is he done? and that's the redheaded stranger up there.
Yeah, Dalton out of TCU, who played for the Cincinnati Bengals for a while. I have heard that Dalton is a lot of people's second choice. Right? Like he is, if they don't get the guy, if they don't get Cam Newton, or if they don't get the trade, or they're not able to draft the guy they want, then Dalton is the next best choice. So there's a lot connecting him to New England, connecting him to the Patriots, right? Because he's accurate. He's a game manager. He's not a guy that's going to scramble around. But that's what Bill Belichick likes. Bill Belichick doesn't want a guy who's going to go willy-nilly, right? Cam Newton is not going to the Patriots. I'm going to say that right now. Cam Newton is not going to be a Patriots quarterback ever, right? Unless he gets both his legs tied down in cement. Just because he likes to improvise too much, he puts way too much. He puts the ball in the air way too much and puts it at risk way too much for Bill Belichick's liking. Bill Belichick runs a very specific system that is designed
precise, specific, timing. Gotta have just that perfect rhythm. And that's not going to be Belichick's MO. He could probably make him into a good player. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Anything of that nature. Now, somewhere I could see Dalton going potentially is New Orleans, since they just got rid of Teddy Bridgewater. He come in, learn the system behind Breeze, who's got, what do you think, 2 years max left in his career? If that. I mean, he's one more thumbnail away from being retired. I love the guy, Westlake product, Texas boy, but he's getting up there in years. He's a little gray around the tooth, or whatever the damn phrase is.
I mean,
he ain't got much.
There's a lot of rumors connecting Jameis Winston to that exact spot. Right? There's a lot of rumors saying Andy Dalton will be a starter in the league next year. It's just not known what team he'll be on. Whether that's at Miami if they're not able to draft who they want. Whether that's with the Chargers if they're not able to draft who they want. Whether that's, if there's an injury, then he might be in play somewhere. There's a lot of contingencies going on right now, that there are teams that don't have a starting quarterback, a high-caliber starting quarterback. Is Andy Dalton Russell Wilson? No. But is he a good enough quarterback to come into the game and not lose the game for you if you have a good running back? And unfortunately, the one place that I think he would excel, we don't want him to go because our boy, Ryan Tannehill, just got paid there. Right? I think he'd excel in Tennessee. Good wide receivers, fast wide receivers, able to run crisp routes, and a stud running back and a stud offensive line. I think that's a perfect fit for him other than Ryan Tannehill is sitting right there. And I believe in my heart that Tannehill's a better quarterback than Dalton is. I think Tannehill's more upside.
I 100% agree with you.
But, is Dalton a solid option for any of these other teams that don't currently have a high caliber starting quarterback? Miami's probably out because they're probably going to get their quarterback in the draft. Denver's got their quarterback from last year, still Will Locke. Is that his name? Yeah.
Yeah, from Mizzou.
From Mizzou. He's going to be the starter going into this year. He played fairly well. Drew Lock. Sorry, not Will. Drew Lock.
Yeah.
He played fairly well going into last year. So, I mean, there are teams, though, that wouldn't mind Dalton. Now, another decent place that he could go to be a backup would be Kansas City. Kansas City has had, what's his face? I can't think of his name. Anyway, they've had a decent backup, but Dalton would be a good backup for Mahomes.
Kermit the Frog here.
So,
all right, so we are right at 8:30. We want to start playing the game that we had played the other night with Mike. We both liked it. We both enjoyed it.
Yeah, so we're gonna play a game. So Kyle and I, as anybody listening knows, cannot talk for short sentences. So we the other night decided that we're gonna play a game. We're gonna play a rapid fire game where I'm gonna ask a question to Kyle that I don't think he can answer in 30 questions. I think he can answer it, right? But I don't think he can answer it in 30 seconds. Okay, and then every round that we progress, 5 seconds come off the clock. Okay.
Should we dub this the Jimbo game?
If that's what you want to call it, I'm fine with that.
That man can speak fast.
Okay, so
Have you ever listened to one of his pressers?
so the goal of this game is to answer whatever. Now we don't know the questions. Kyle and I don't know what we're going to ask each other, and to be honest, we probably don't know what questions we are going to ask the other person. But the goal
We
of this,
both said we're going to write down 5 questions at the beginning of the day, and both of us had very busy days and completely forgot.
And neither of us did it. So I'm going to ask Kyle a question. He has 30 seconds to answer it. If he can answer it in 30 seconds, great. He doesn't get penalized. If he gets a point. If I cannot answer it in 30, and then if he can ask me a question, I cannot answer it, then I do get a demerit essentially, and then we'll add it up. Whoever wins at the end of the game. But then for every round, we're going to take 5 seconds off the clock. So the first round will be 30 seconds. Second round will be 25, 20, 15, and then finally 10. Again, the point of this is to ask questions that the other one does know the answer to. That the other one
I think
will.
we do need to put a stipulation in that you've got to be. It's like for the. You can't just go, I don't know, I'm done.
Yeah, you have to answer the question, right? And you have to formulate a good response.
Coherent.
If you can't answer the question, then that's a demerit as well, right? There is. You have to actually give a decent answer. So, Kyle, I'm going to let you go first. I'm going to let you ask me a question first. We're going to put 30 seconds on the clock. Eventually in my life, I'll figure out how to put a little clock. Maybe, hold on, give me a second. I know probably shouldn't, but I'm sure there's a way for me to put a little clock here.
I know how to do it on my phone. I don't know how to do it on my computer.
Yeah, that's.
You can just bring up the clock.
Well, yeah, but I don't. Anyway, okay, so we'll just use my phone tonight. I'll figure it out.
By the way, audience, if you have a question that you want asked during this game, now is the time to post it in chat.
Yeah.
Because we will use your questions and you'll get priority.
Because we don't know. We're making this up as we go. Okay. So I'm going to bring up my stopwatch here.
Okay, I see it.
Okay, I can click the button from here. Good. Okay, and Kyle, this is great content. I know, guys. Sorry. All right.
All right. You have the opportunity to eat dinner with Bill Whittle, Andrew Clavin, or God, now I'm forgetting his name. Why am I no?
Michael
our favorite,
Knowles, Bill Matt Walsh.
Our favorite, Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro.
Ben Shapiro. Okay.
You can only eat dinner with one of them. You have to pick one of the 3 and explain why.
All right.
Go.
So for me,
you didn't hit go.
Hold on. 1, 2, 3, go. For me, that's a pretty easy question. I'm going to go with Andrew Clavin because Andrew Clavin's really funny. Ben Shapiro is very analytical, and it would be an interesting conversation, but I feel he's more like me, and we just end up getting very analytical with each other, and we'd start getting pedantic in our arguments, and just it would be more of a debate than it would be a conversation, and we really wouldn't be enjoyable. Andrew Clavin, I feel like we could actually have fun, we could make jokes, we could laugh about things, and it would be a good time, and actually really enjoy the dinner.
Okay, you didn't hit stop, but you were at 26 seconds when you went to click stop. So you get a point.
I don't get a point. That's the goal.
You wait.
We're trying to stay at 0 here.
Oh, okay, like golf rules.
Yeah, golf rules. Lowest score wins. All right. Okay. If you had to pick one of the current Aggie recruits to kick off the team because of scholarship, eligibility requirements, whatever you want to do it, who is it? What position do they play? And why?
We talking 2021 that are
we're talking
current
the
recruits?
last season's recruits, the recruits you just signed, recruits you just brought in, and I'm gonna caveat this: one of the top 5 recruits that you just brought in, as rated by.
Can I do Texags?
You can use Tech. I don't care which service you use, but pick one of the top 5 guys. You have to explain why you're kicking him off the team, what position he plays, and why you don't need that.
Okay. Damn it. is only Texas recruits.
Hold on, I'll.
So in Texas, the top 5 are Damon Demas, Jalen Jones, Devon Achane, Haynes King, and Jace No, that's not us.
Haynes King is you.
Yeah, no. The person I was about to say was
I'm putting it
a
on the screen now.
TCU commit.
So we've got Jalen Jones, we've got Antonio Johnson, we've got Chris Morris, Haynes King, and Fadil Diggs. But
Damn, those are all.
I probably said that wrong.
I don't see your screen. Just send me the link real quick.
Okay, got it. Everybody on YouTube can see it. Just you can.
Well, I can't yet. It's not live yet.
Now this is Gig'em247 from 247.
My least favorite. Well, no, not my least favorite, but one of my least favorite. Okay. Damn. This one's hard, dude.
Yeah. You got to kick Jalen Jones, Antonio Johnson, Chris Morris, Haynes King, and Fadil Diggs off the team because you need the scholarship for somebody else. We don't care who it is. Hypothetical player X. Who are you kicking off? Why? 30 seconds. And we've let you think about it enough now. You've stalled for a good enough amount of time. And go.
So of the players that are listed, I would probably have to go with Haynes King because he's a quarterback, and we have a pretty good quarterback pipeline right now. And in the class of 2021, we have another highly rated 5-star quarterback coming in. So with that said, I'd probably go with him because the cornerback, the safety, the offensive lineman, and the defensive end are all very needed players, and their pipelines aren't as full. So because of that reason, his pipeline's better. I'd kick him off, but I love him as a player.
I'm going to give it to you because I was slow on the button. 30 seconds. Way to go. All right.
And with that said, I think he's going to end up making a very good career at A&M.
No, you've already said it. You want him off the team.
He's going to fit Jimbo's system. No, he's going to fit Jimbo's system fantastically. So he's going to be a good quarterback come soon enough.
Okay. So I have now figured out how to put a stopwatch on the screen. Ba-bam.
Sweet.
There it is. I realize it doesn't look.
I can't see it, but I'm sure the audience can.
Yeah, if you're watching YouTube, it'll come up here in just a second. So we can actually do that here.
We got a question from the audience.
Okay, let's go with it.
Best NFL fit and draft round for Jonathan Taylor, the running back from the Badgers.
Ooh. Call it.
Ready? Go.
Currently, I'm going to say the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers don't have a stud running back. They do have a decent guy, a small guy who's pretty nimble, but they don't have a bell cow. Jonathan Stewart's from Wisconsin. It's an easy thing. He just goes over to Green Bay. He's already a stud there in the state. They love him. Green Bay would be a great place for him to go. It's quiet. It seems to meet his demeanor. Everything in that matter, I think Green Bay is the best option. 24.9.
I have no idea if you won or not. I have no idea.
Okay. I know how we can do this. Okay, there we go. I think we've got her figured. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great question, though. Jonathan, I haven't thought of him in a while, so that's a great question because I literally have not thought about him, and he is going to be a stud in the NFL somewhere, right? He's going to be somewhere great. And if we didn't have Ezekiel Elliott in Dallas...
I think you just gave away our keys.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I did for a second. Put it on
is
there.
what it is.
Yeah. No, nobody saw it. Didn't have it.
Yeah, exactly.
So other than that, I do think he's going to be a stud in the NFL. I do think he'll be somebody that everybody likes. I do think he's going to be a bell cow back in the NFL because he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can do lots and lots of different things that are very, very, very good. So it'll be interesting to see when he becomes and what he becomes. And hold on. Oh, that's the button I'm looking for. Okay. All right. So Kyle, I've got a question to you, which is,
And you probably answered that question pretty well for Bill because he's from Wisconsin, so
But he's a Bears fan.
He's a Bears fan. We grew up.
So I don't know that he would like going to.
Yeah, it always made fun. It always made weird. I think he's from Wisconsin. I'm sure he'll correct me if I'm wrong, either via text message or in the chat. But yeah, he's a Bears fan more so though.
Okay. So
I'm stalling before you've asked the question. Damn it! I need to wait till after you've asked the question.
All right. I'm thinking, man, because I'm trying to get something. You got 25 seconds. Let me think about what I want to ask you here. Oh, got it. If you had to go pick a school to go to for a master's degree, for a graduate class, what school would you go to? It cannot be Texas A&M. What would your degree plan be, and why would you pick that school? 3, 2, 1, go.
I'd probably pick SMU because they had a good telecommunications professor up there that my professor always raved about. And when I did my research into them back in 2008, they were a highly rated telecommunications course. With that said, I haven't really thought about getting my master's or anything of that nature. But if that were going to be why, I'd do it there, and it's not too far of a commute. Done.
Boy, that's about as close to cut it as you can cut it right there. All right. Question number 3 for me. I've got 20 seconds on the clock. Kyle, let me know what your
20 seconds on the clock. All right.
20 seconds on the clock.
You can get any person to come on this show other than President Trump. Who is it and why?
I'm waiting for you to say go.
Ready? Go.
For me, it would probably be Dak Prescott. I mean, he seems like a nice guy. He seems like he'd be fun to joke around with, and it'd be interesting to hear what it's like to be the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, there's a lot of pressure with that that comes with that because it is one of the biggest teams in the nation, and Dak Prescott, I think, would just be fun to talk to for a little while, and he'd be joking around and goofing.
Woo, got that one close.
There you go. All right. Kyle, if you could choose, if you were in Congress right now and you could affect the bill that's currently being passed without changing it majorly, and whatever you wanted to input into the bill would go through, right? You would assume that it would go through your little pet project. What would be your pet project that you would add to the bill? Why would you add it there? And what do you think it does for the country? 3, 2,
Damn,
1.
I was gonna say I'd remove something, but
nope, you had to add something. 3, 2, 1, go.
What I would add would be an incentive for small business owners to actually start their businesses. So help that would be in the form of a loan or the form of a grant to help little businesses that have a valid business plan get the money they need to actually go to market. Done.
Boy, that was close.
Waited a while to hit
a while is like 10/10 of a second.
2 seconds.
No. No.
You were clicking all around. You were clicking all around it, and then you finally went, I finally found the damn button.
All right. Round number 4, 15 seconds on the clock. Go ahead.
Same question to you. Ready, go.
I add more money for the U.S. Olympic teams. Make sure that they're actually funded. Make sure that they can actually put money to the athletes. Make sure they're taken care of. Make sure the athletes get better travel accommodations. Make sure they're looking because they do represent us on the world stage, and they need to look the part.
Good job. Good job.
Fourth question to you is going to be, we're
down to 15 seconds.
We're down to 15 seconds.
Okay.
All right. If you had to eliminate one Olympic sport, which is it and why? 3, 2, 1, go.
Curling. I don't understand it. It's fun to watch, but just like I don't think that's a sport per se. It's like I said, it's really fun to watch, but it's more precision than it is a sport. So that's me personally. It's curling. Done.
I didn't click slow on that one. You said done. I clicked it. 15 seconds.
On my screen, it was 14.2, and then you hit it. So I don't know. Maybe there's delay in the audio, or how you're clicking the button. Like for me to see the button being clicked, I don't know.
Okay. 10 seconds.
10-second question. This is where I could probably get you with the meat and potatoes.
Yeah. By the way,
You've nominated. Go wait.
By the way, if you like this game, comment. We'll keep we'll get better at it. If you don't like this game, let us know. We'll stop doing it.
We're having fun though.
It's fun for us. And that's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
You're watching us because we like to do with each other.
All right, you've made several policy proposals. Which is your favorite and why?
Currently, my favorite one is my healthcare bill because it allows the free market to really adapt into the healthcare system by preventing the employers from choosing one insurance provider.
979.
979. That's our home area code. All right, Kyle.
Yep.
I have said many different policy proposals. Which one is your least favorite and why? Go.
The solar energy one, because it didn't take into effect the local municipalities having to buy back energy.
We already had that conversation. So, not worried about your house. All right.
I had to think, because I know of 3.
Yeah, well, that's really the major ones right now. The FDA one is new. I'm formulating that one. Hopefully, I'll have that on a congressman's desk here within a couple weeks. I've got to think it through because, you can't just write something down on a piece of paper and then say it's good, right? You have to think of the ramifications. You have to think of the long-term outcome of this. In economics, we call it externalities. You have to think of the externalities. You have to think about not just what's going to happen now, but what's going to happen 10 years from now. What's going to happen 50 years from now? What's going to happen 100 years from now? How is this going to affect the way the country works? And you also then have to think about what's going to be the opposition to it. What are people going to say negatively towards it? And then, okay, sometimes you start thinking about what people say negatively, and it makes you not like it anymore. Because you're like, oh, well, shit, yeah, that's right. Oh, crap, yeah, I don't want that. So there's been several proposals where I've gone back and tinkered with them because it was like I started thinking about what might be the negativity of it, what somebody might say. So I like to say, in my mind, I play devil's advocate. So what I do is I pretend that I'm a Democrat, and I try to poke holes in the policy, right, from a Democratic point of view as much as I can. And I also go talk to some people I know who are lean heavily left, and I get their opinions. And then I try to formulate either A, a response to that, why this is still good policy even though they don't like it, or B, try to adapt the policy to still work within their frames and adjust to their complaints so that they would be willing to vote for it. So, like with my income tax bill, my income tax proposal, which is getting rid of all income tax on overtime hours. So when the left says, "Oh, we only give tax breaks to the rich," well, if we do income tax break, that's almost 100% to middle class, lower class people, because wealthy people don't make overtime. So it's a policy where I've really sat there and tried to think about what are the ramifications, what would the left say negatively towards this, and how can I combat that, and then go forward. All right, so that was fun. If you guys like that, let us know in the comments, and we'll keep it up if you guys like it. If you don't like it, we can stop. But all right, so let's wrap this up tonight. Let's move into the last little bit. So couple things we'd like from you guys if you watch this is number one, let us know whether you like the game or not. Number two, let us know if you like the new format, the way I formatted the screen. If you like how it looks, let us know because we like it. We think it's nice, but we'll get your guys' opinion on it. And then lastly, like and subscribe, guys. Share the video with your friends. Let them know that we're here. Put it on their Facebook page. Let them know that we're just two conservative guys that like to bullshit with each other, like to have fun, like to talk to each other, like to give each other hell because we're brothers. We love each other to death. But at the same time, brothers are going to be brothers, and we're going to give each other hell when we can. If you guys like what we're doing, make sure you let us know, and we'll try to keep it up. We'll try to keep providing you guys content. We know you're locked in your house, so we'll try to give you something to look at, something to watch, something to listen to try to get you through your day, try to get you through your quarantine, And, for a lot of you, this is the first time you've talked to your wife in about 5 years. So, good luck.
Yeah, my wife and I are definitely having those cabin fever moments where like, go away. I've seen you too much today. It's like,
I need time away from you.
I need 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. Leave me alone. I'm like,
All
but
right.
I love you.
So we're gonna
Let's go ahead and tease up our whale.
All right. So Kyle again went fishing, and I mean he sent out the high test, right? He didn't send out some 5-pound line. He sent out a tether. He sent it out. He reeled in a big one. So Kyle, I'm gonna let you go ahead and announce what you did.
He got a touchdown. He got a touchdown. He got a touchdown. Oh, doctor.
So
we got Dave South.
So here you go, ladies and gentlemen. Dave Smouth, the best 5 calls that he's ever had. Kyle and I have our favorites. You let us know what your favorites are. We'll make sure we ask him. Dave South will be in the house next Monday at 7 p.m. live and in person with us. And we're going to ask him 74 times, oh, doctor. And I promise you, I'm going to say about 12 times, he scored a touchdown, he scored a touchdown, he scored a touchdown, he scored a touchdown. So enjoy this video as it plays. It's a great video, guys. And Kyle, let them know where they can find you on Twitter.
You can find me at Kyle Schumann 08. That's Kilo, Yankee, Lima, Echo, Sierra, Charlie, Hotel, Uniform, Mike, Alpha, November 08.
If you're gonna do everything phonetically, you need to do the numbers phonetically.
Not many people do those.
So anyway, for me, it's at Ross Schumann on Twitter. That's at Romeo Oscar Sierra Charlie Hotel Uniform Mike Alpha November. Thanks, my dad, for naming me Ross, because that means I get to say Sierra 3 times. Make sure you like me on Twitter. We're going to be posting the link to this video here very soon, guys. We hope you enjoy it so much. These are such great memories for Kyle and I. Dave South was such a part of our childhood. We literally would have the TV on watching the game and mute it.
Down to the 40. He's the 50. I think he's going to score.
He's going to score. So Dave South is a legend in Aggie Land.
72 yards.
As much as I was in the past, but when I was a kid, so much of my life was spent around Aggie football, watching Aggie football, listening to Aggie football. And Dave South is a living legend when it comes to announcing football games. So many vital memories I have with kids, watching us beat Texas, watching us beat Alabama, watching us beat all these different teams when it comes to all the different Aggie generations, the Big 12 championship game, of course. The Nebraska game when Nebraska was number 1, the Oklahoma game with Reggie McNeil where we beat them at number 1. So many games where A&M managed to do things. So listen to these top 5 calls as they come through. And let us know if you don't agree.
Aggie fans
are still
he got a touchdown. The 98 Big 12 championship game. The 99 bonfire game. He's got the ball. He's got the ball. He just gets such enthusiasm in his voice. You know something happened when he gets that.
He was definitely a fan of Aggie football.
Mansell throwing, going deep. He's got a guy, and it is a touchdown. It's Swope. Swope caught a lofter, laid it right in over his head.
Got a lofter. There it is. This is one.
And this one.
Yeah.
And the big full black ticket. Hopefully you didn't hear that.
Somebody moved. Wait a minute, let's see if they did or we did. You know what? I think they moved.
That's a first down, Dave.
It's offsides. That's offsides against Alabama.
That's offside.
They moved. A&M caught them. And a first down for Texas A&M. We're going to have to snap it one time, and it's over with. A&M did it. They just did it.
And here it is, boys and girls. The best.
No tight end. Shea Holder is exposed here on this right side. Put a man in motion. Now they snap it. Going to throw here to Parker at the 20, at the 15, at the 10, at the 5. He is almost. He got a touchdown! He got a touchdown! He got a touchdown! He got a touchdown! He got it in! He got it in! He got it in! Oh, doctor! Oh my goodness! They are mobbing him. It is bedlam here.
And I will apologize because I just realized for the last 30 seconds my mic has been muted. So, Kyle, you're not the only person who's done it. So
SchuBros unmuted.
SchuBros is unmuted. So make sure you like and subscribe is what I said. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel so that you actually know when Dave South interview is going to come. It'll be next Monday, 7 p.m. Sorry for the for the blank spot there in the middle of the video. I'll try to go back and edit that out.
At the very end, the tail end of the video.
So
like
good,
most
man.
people aren't watching right now anyway, so it's all right.
Yeah, we did so good to that point.
Okay.
But guys, thank you so much for watching with us. Thank you so much for staying with us. Thank you so much for being with us. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that you actually know when we're live streaming. And hey, that's not just going to get you SPU. That's going to get you HSP. That's going to get you the forum. That's going to get you Friday Night Comfy Post. That's going to get you every bit of what Zero Gravity Media has to bring you. We're all on one channel. And guys, if you want, don't feel scared to go to zerogravitymedia.com, zero-gravity-media.com. Look at our pages and help. If you feel like what we're doing is worth supporting, support us through that method. There is a way there to support us, to help us out, to make sure that the content keeps getting better and that we keep our production values high. Please let us know what you think about the video. Please let us know what you think about the new format. Please let us know what you think about the game we played. Let us know about all of these things, and we'll try to keep getting better and better for you week in, week out. God bless you all. Thank you so much for paying attention to us. Kyle, have a great night.
Gigaman, God bless y'all. Have a good one.
I just keep calling on the help of my peers, but their success makes me distressed. Things will be better when I disappear, bouncing from city to state. Nothing feels great, I'm a committed disgrace. If I could get up, hold my chin up, confidence is just a bluff for the weak. Might take a peek in my self-pity to realize it's selfishness for the meek. Just take these pills and makes it better, but withdrawals will make